Employers, supervisors, and managers alike will never understand how much pressure I put on myself when it comes to doing a task. I mentioned this in a old video, if I'm correct, the perfections video, how I can't stand when I don't do a task to its completion and perfectly. This was unfortunately enforced as I grew up when it came to doing stuff around the house. Yes, I was coddled, and yes, everybody always did stuff for me, but when it came for me to do a task and I had a genuine question or genuinely could not figure it out, it was always ridiculed with anger and disturbance and frustration, and it just made it so I had to make sure that I exhausted every single step I could do before I asked for any help. And unfortunately, that did not really work out as well as planned. So now I'm a perfectionist. I can't stand when a task isn't done properly, and I can't stand when I can't finish a task. This unfortunately trickles into work. I wish it was just a two-sided person thing and I could just shut that personality off, but I can't. It's engraved in me. Moments like being late to work about 10 minutes because something completely out of control, only for a manager to stop you and say, "You do know what time you're supposed to be at work, right?" Duh, I did not just forget I had a whole job. I've been working here for a whole year or anything, but go off, I guess. I know that managers and whatever, supervisors and such, have to bring it up so that way employees don't go, "But you didn't tell me, I didn't know," and stuff like that. But I have a brain. I am fully aware. I know how jobs work and what time, I've been working there. I think I know what time I'm supposed to be at work. And I did snap a little bit because I was already frustrated because I was late. And walking in only to see this one supervisor who makes every rule known to a T, standing right where I need to clock in, so I knew a comment was coming, and it still frustrated me because it just did not need someone to point out the bloody obvious. I am aware. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure everything's good. And I know in reality I can't always expect everything to work out like it's supposed to, but boy oh boy, I cannot stand when it doesn't. It's impossible for me to move on, roll with the punches when things start falling apart, when I try all of my efforts to keep things in line. It's impossible for me. So when it comes to jobs, you best bet it's going to be very difficult for me to function throughout the day if things can't go my way, pretty much. This also affects not given the chance, because whenever I am given the chance, it is an honor, I guess you could say. I always think that I'm not good enough for some reason, and it doesn't help when I'm looking for jobs and they don't even ask for an interview, or even after the interview, they're like, "We went with somebody else." It's just a waste of my time because I suck at interviews. I don't do well with paperwork, I don't do well with talking, and I can't show much or answer good questions. When it comes to the interview questions, they usually try to trip you up, and they ask questions like, "How much do you want to get paid?" or "Why do you want to work here?" Usually it's because of money, but obviously you can't answer that, so you gotta pretend you give a crap about the job. And these previous jobs I actually did care, but, I needed to sell like I really needed the job, so it can be difficult sometimes. This current job, it was far different from any other job I've ever attempted. Today, the day of recording this video anyways, was the first day of my new job. A previous job, I had only been there for a month. And yeah, that's not really something you want to brag about, but there's a decent reason for it. So my very first, sewing job, I got hired there and I worked there for about, I want to say 11 months. It was almost a year, but I quit a month out before my anniversary. All was going well, iffy, should I say. I first started there, I was training under somebody else while they were operating a machine, and I got relocated to help somebody else operate a machine. But I had been working there for about 6 months, and I started knowing as people came in that they were getting assigned to their own machine, and I was like, well, why don't I have my machine? There were speculations that certain people did not like me, and I'm not entirely sure if it's true, but I'm not going to, spread rumors or anything. But I was still curious as to why I wasn't put on one. I started to believe that maybe I just wasn't competent enough. Maybe they didn't trust me, even though they had other people running machines that didn't know what they were doing. Eventually, when people got moved around, they're like, okay, well, we don't have much choices, so I guess we'll just go ahead and throw her on a machine. And one day I was on my own machine, and two people walked up to me and asked, all right, so we're gonna just ask you a couple questions, and they basically were just saying how I was feeling it out, and they were just saying, this is your time to shine, show us what you got, you seem to be doing really good so far. So I was just like, yeah, pretty much, I'm glad I have the opportunity, I won't let you guys down. So with all that said, I take a lot of honor and appreciation from when I'm put on the spot to do a task that I wouldn't say nobody really believed I could do it, but nobody really turned to me first, should I say. And I really want to blow them away oh, we didn't expect her to be able to do this, and so they, request me to do it next time, or they really believe that I'm the next person to be really good at the job. And I only worked for about 2 months because I screwed up. And I really beat myself up on this. It frustrated me a little bit when people tried to talk me out of the idea of, or tried to talk me out of the deep dark in my head or whatever, saying that, oh, people make mistakes, you're only human, it's only a machine, they'll be fine, it's repairable, blah blah blah. No, I screwed up and broke the machine. Of course it was by accident, but I still felt like, yeah, I could have done plenty to avoid this. And it didn't help because boss person, I always had a feeling that boss person didn't like me. And it didn't help that they accused me of something that wasn't true. And it's just a whole mess. So not only do I already have an overbearing boss, but I'm overbearing myself, and I just felt like crap. They relocated me to another machine, so I guess I still had a chance until I screwed up again. Except this time I didn't destroy the machine, I just messed up an order. And the boss was like, you know what? Yeah, we're done. We're just gonna go ahead and move you somewhere else. And it was pretty much a demotion without the reduced pay. And you're probably thinking, well, you probably shouldn't be announcing this, especially since you started your new job, but you learn from your mistakes, okay? And this current job is definitely open for you learning your mistakes. They want you to make mistakes so you can learn from them, so they don't happen again. So I'm in the clear. I'm just telling you my experience of being an idiot on job. So they relocated me to a less hazardous place for me to screw things up. And it's just the way the boss spoke and how I already felt, and it was horrible. I guess I could say I hated myself more than anything, because I screwed up so badly, and how I'd imagine everybody feels looking at me like, oh, she's the idiot who broke the machine, oh, she's just incompetent, all that stuff floating around in my head, and it was just worse. I did not want to be there anymore. Of course, I wasn't really in the same state of mind where I was at my security job, where I was going to quit on any means, didn't care if I had a job lined up, but I didn't want to work there. I was mad looking for new jobs. Every day going to work, I didn't want to talk to anybody, I couldn't really be in a good mood. I just didn't want to be there anymore. There was most of the time since that happened, I just go straight to work and not say much to anybody up front. It was just horrible. I didn't even feel like I belonged there, and it didn't help that when I did find a job, because to my luck, a coworker who used to work there had relocated to a different sewing company and suggested the job to me, and also suggested me to the boss person there. And so I pretty much had a place lined up, which was great. When I did leave, I didn't get the same treatment as that coworker with the whole, oh, you're welcome to come back anytime. We hope you enjoy, well, they did say, we hope you enjoy your new location, but I'm pretty sure they're just glad to get rid of me. Who cares? I don't work there anymore. Now fast forward to my current job, the one I was talking about, if I haven't talked about it yet. I had only worked here for a day. I just got off about 2 hours ago. And it's tough. It's tough. But the way I found this job was different. Well, I mean, I found the job normally, but how I got the job is far different from how I got any other job I've ever had. Usually, it's the whole find a job, applies, they might call you in for an interview. If they call you in for an interview, you gotta pretend you really care about that job, and then if you're lucky, you get hired. But this one, I tried a little harder, and surprisingly it worked. I'm pretty sure this is a normal behavior, but for me, it was a step up and an absolute win. When I saw this job, I wasn't looking for it on purpose. I was looking for a job for somebody else. Again, I had only been working at that other embroidery place for about a month, and I was helping somebody look for a job, and I saw that one unlisted. Now, it paid more than any job I've ever worked at, and I have been trying to find a job with that kind of pay for a while. Well, not that job, but a job. And a lot of places expect you to have like 17 years of experience. I mean, this one was different and still wanted you to have experience, but I was like, maybe I might be lucky. So I decided, well, at first I wasn't going to apply because I got suggested to this job, and how I got the job was pretty easy. So I was like, I really don't want to abandon this person and make them think that I'm incompetent or that I'm unreliable or that I'm just some kind of flaky employee. And I didn't want them suggesting or not suggesting me as a useful employee, but I had to. There are events going on in my life where I definitely needed more money, and I have plans in the future that the current or my past rate was not going to get me there, not easily anyways. And so I was going to shoot my chance, and if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, lost cause. So I applied, and the very next day, I didn't get the job. I immediately said, nope, we're not going to hire you, sorry. It was through a hiring website. Not their website, but a hiring website. And I was like, well, dang. A day later, and they immediately tell me no. I'm pretty sure it's my out-of-date resume. And my lack of cover letter. Usually that website allows you to type in a cover letter, but for some strange reason lately it wasn't allowing me to, so it said no. I was like, okay, well, I guess I could reapply, but I waited like 2 days assuming you needed a cooldown time, and it still wouldn't let me apply again, which some places, some job offers will allow you to do that. So I was like, well, I don't want to take no for an answer. They barely even looked at my stuff. They just saw a name and said no. So I went ahead, found the website to the actual company, and I typed into one of the contacts like saying, hey, I applied on insert website name here, and they immediately kind of told me no, and I didn't get to give a cover letter or anything. Do you think I could try again? And they're like, yeah, sure, just send us a cover letter through email and your document of your resume on the email. So I was like, oh, okay, shoot. Decided to type out my cover letter explaining my experience and even linked my Instagram, put in my resume, and then had somebody proofread it. They changed a couple things and came out pretty nice, all official and stuff. And that's what lined me up with that job. I immediately got an email. Well, I didn't immediately get an email. I had to reach out again because apparently the email on my resume was a little messed up, or the number on my resume was messed up. Then, everything went smoothly after that. When I called them, because they told me to call them on the email, they told me all the processing and stuff, and they pretty much had it on over the phone interview. And then they were like, okay, so we would like for you to come in and we'll do a trial run with you. I'm like, a trial run? They do that? And she explains that I basically have to come in and work on the machine and see how I fare with the machine. And so we scheduled for the next day, and I come in and I'm working on a machine, and it's far different from what I've ever worked on. But surprisingly, I kind of pick it up pretty quickly. She shows me a bunch of stuff and different techniques and the different things they have to do to work with all the fabric and stuff. And she explains her experience when she first started there. She was training with somebody, and that person didn't have the patience, and they're like, she doesn't have what it takes to work here, she shouldn't work here. And then the person who was training me was like, no, I have what it takes, I can do this. And she said that in about 3 days she figured it out. So I guess she saw herself in me and was like, yeah, so we'll call you back in later on this week tell you what's going on because I still have to check out other people. And then I'm like, okay, so at that time I just felt like I messed up. I didn't mess up, but you know, I felt like she knew that I didn't know what the heck I was doing on the machine, even though I was picking stuff up pretty clearly because she said I'm a fast learner and I have the skill to learn different things, which is good in that field, which, you know, gave me the feeling that I might get it. But given the fact of the requirements to get that job, I felt like whoever else applied knows why they applied because they most likely had experience. So I really felt like I didn't have a chance, that me doing all the extra work to get that job was gonna fall flat. But sure enough, the next day I get called saying I got the job. And it shocked me, because I was not expecting to get that job for many reasons. And getting that trial definitely is what got me that job. That interview would have I don't know if the interview alone would have been it. Maybe the way that, because the way she spoke on the phone sounded like she wanted me, but obviously she still had to do other stuff. But I don't think my interview alone was what it took to get me that job. I think for a fact it was a trial one, and I really wish other jobs would do that, because it gives me the chance to put my skills to the test, to show them that I have what it takes, because I don't do interviews. I'm much more of a doer, a physical touch person. I'm pretty sure there's a term for that, but my brain's farting on it right now, so I can't think of it. All I know is I have to do things with my hands. I have to show people that I can do it, not tell people I can do it. Because I suck when it comes to words. I don't know how to use descriptive words. Like, half the time when I'm telling these stories, I have to pause and stutter and figure out, because my brain farts and forgets what words are and don't know how to put them in a sentence. So, and I'm not really good at convincing anybody. Why should I tell somebody, I mean, yeah, I'm here for the pay and for what the job is doing, but I can't really try to BS a reason why I want a job, but nobody really has a real reason. Everybody knows the one thing that lets people walk into the door when it comes to a job, so now you gotta sit there and pull reasons out of your butt saying, oh yeah, this wall looks nice, I don't have a wall like that at my job. So when I got the chance to actually prove or show them what I had, I definitely felt like I was on that spot again. Having the chance to prove that I had what it took to get that job. And it ended up working out in the end. That satisfaction of working hard for something, the goal that could potentially change your life, only to get it. And yes, this is only a day in, but I really hope it's the first day of a really long career, because I'm very lucky. Well, at least with that one anyways. I was very, very lucky. And I hope that I can keep to the standard that I put myself, and that I learn to not be so hard on myself, because I need to really relax. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there are feeling the same way, where they feel like they have to put themselves at such a standard. And I know I could be preaching to the choir, or, you know, I need to practice what I preach, should I say. I should practice what I preach when I'm saying that you shouldn't be so hard on yourself, because a lot of places only appreciate the bare minimum and are surprised when you do more than that. And unfortunately, some places will take advantage of it. So just do what you're comfortable with, and it's okay, because a lot of people don't even care if you mess up and think it's just a minor inconvenience. And what I've learned from work today was, if you don't screw up, you don't learn anything. And the best way to learn is obviously to make a mistake. So I guess keep making mistakes out there. Hey everyone, this is Leanne. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the previous one, The Importance of Communication, where communication could very well be one of the most important things to a relationship. If these videos are your thing, or if you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe, because that would really help. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.